My name is James Odede, and I'm the founder of Lake Hub, part of the organizations that are convening the Lake Basin Investment and Innovation Week. So we're going to have a pretty rushed program, so bear with us because our chief guest has a tight schedule. But without much ado, I'd like to invite Professor Bora, who will give opening remarks, and then we'll walk through the program. Thank you.
My name is Professor Humphrey Obora. I'm the World Talent Federation Secretary General based in Bowling Green in the United States of America. I also double up as the president of the African Federation for Gifted and Talented, which runs the branch of that World Federation in Africa. Sometimes back, I used to run a college known as Dark Education when I left the United Kingdom some years back. And as a result of that, I put up this building way back in 2012, 2013, before I was appointed to work in the United States of America. The building rained down, I came back. You can see I'm ongoing with a lot of renovation with it. And during one of the events which took place last July, on the 3rd, one of the young people that came forward and meeting exactly what we want to happen in this region was Martin Olo. We're seated here in this same hall when we launched assessment of people to know their own innate abilities so that you're sure in what you're doing, you can be able to find results in the future. Because you know, learning has changed. It's no longer, in Africa, Your Highness, long time ago when you want to go to school, you were only told to touch the other ear, then you get qualified. Today, we don't need to do that. Not a lot of entrance tests. Today, we have technology that can enable us to forecast careers and be sure about that. And that's exactly what we want to do in this region. We want to enhance that because we know many people within. There are also inspirations that don't make sense. We have had so many people who get inspired into what others are doing, then they try to ape what those people do, and they fail miserably. At the moment, the National Youth Enterprise Development Fund, which is government, has partnered with us to work. I can see you there. I can see Ochieng there. We were with them from the National Youth Enterprise Development Fund. They partnered with us to set up what are known as talent clinics. Talent clinics and innovation hubs are brothers and sisters, if you may allow me to say that. Because we help you identify, but then you make it happen. So I'm very happy to work with these energetic young people. And for that reason, I decided, without any cost, to give access to these young people to this building, to create offices, to create space, so that they can enhance those capacities within a facility which is large enough and conducive enough for them to be able to do their work. Above that, I have talked to our headquarters to be able to support, and I'm talking to many other institutions, so that in the result of what you have been able to do, particularly for those who are looking forward to further learning, we can extract what are called prior credits, and then we can transfer those credits to natural universities, which can earn you exemptions so that you can achieve degrees or beyond in a shorter time and pay less money. We are also talking the number of institutions that can be able to partner with us in terms of enhancing what Martin and the group are doing. As you know, they do a lot of projects of people within this village. If you don't know, long ago, there was no electricity here. That was as late as 2013. There was no water. This was a bush. There was no access road. We had to build it here. Today, you guys are lucky because even I can see petrol stations nearby. There was none. All this way was a village, just about 10 years ago. So it is your opportunity today to do your great job and show what potentials you do have. And we're here to support you and to support you big time. For the British High Commission to find time from Nairobi to come in this heat. I know how cold it is in London right now. To come and support, witness and support what you're doing. I think you should be clapping before I finish my statement. I am delighted because I come not far from here. I came from a village just behind here, where we used to walk bare feet until high school. And so I know many of us, we did that, isn't it? For us now to have things like this here, we can only thank God, don't we?
The three hubs in Kisumu, so that is Lake Hub, Winam Capital, and Fab Lab Winam. This session, we decided just to invite a few, but we have people following online, so we're streaming live on Facebook, and you can also engage in conversations online as well. The next speaker, I'd like to invite Niju from KTN, and he will give us a presentation. He's joining remotely. He wasn't able to be with us here. So we can listen in from the speakers, but if you want to see his face, I think it will be projected in the TV. So maybe just a sec to allow Sheila to connect that.
Hi, Sheila. Hi, everyone. Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for having me today at the Lake Basin Innovation and Investment Week. Her Excellency, Josephine Goh, British Deputy High Commissioner, and all the guests in the room. Good morning for me. Unfortunately, I'm not there with you today. So I'm hoping to use the next session to talk to you a little bit about KTN Global Alliance and our activities in Africa. So I hope you can see my slide. Please let me know if that's okay. Thank you, Sheila. So KTN Global Alliance as an organization, KTN is a 15-year-old organization as part of the UK's Innovation Network. We are the National Innovation Network of the UK. At the core of what we do is about positive change. It's about how do we create diverse connection through innovation and research to drive positive change in the UK and around the world. Through our deep expertise across all the sectors, and also how do we use innovation to shape the future community and society. We do that through a number of specific schemes or programs, such as at the bottom there, you see the Innovation Exchange, which actually we are introducing to Africa, to our current project. Innovation Networks is very much around special interest groups, and our program, the Global Alliance, as well as KTP, or Knowledge Transfer Partnership, which is a 45 years old program in the UK. Our reach internationally, this diagram, this map, just to give you a sense of what and where we have operated in terms of our activities globally since especially in the last 7 years, through a number of European programs, global and European and global programs. So some of the regions there has shown you as well in blue countries that we have worked with both through global and European programs. But as you could see, Africa is still quite a new foray for us, and we are learning, we're finding our feet by working currently in South Africa, Kenya, and Nigeria. And collectively, we have worked with about 30 countries now globally. What do we do? What impact do we actually look to deliver? And these are some numbers to share with you in terms of what we achieve primarily in the UK, from working with startup or early stage companies. So about 66% of companies who come to support by KTN go on to collaborate with new partners. Very importantly, 42% of them actually was able to accelerate their commercialization by 1 to 2 years, and that is massive because of the sort of fast-moving environment that we work in. We also help in the UK to increase investment in R&D by more than £100 million annually. So there's a really tangible outcome and results that we help to deliver to innovation. Now I want to bring you on to KTN Global Alliance Africa, which is a project that Sheila is helping to lead in Kenya as our Kenyan country lead on the program. I'd like to play a short video and then talk about it a little bit for you.
The world we live in faces ever-changing societal, environmental, and economic challenges. At KTN, our mission is to connect ideas, people, and communities to respond to these challenges and drive positive change through innovation. Our Global Alliance Africa project is a UK government-funded 6-year project spanning Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, and the UK. In alliance with our partner countries, we aim to drive collaboration and knowledge transfer as the foundation to long-lasting strategic partnerships, accelerate ambitious ideas into real-world solutions by taking open innovation and access to investment beyond existing thinking, strengthen the capacity and resilience of local and national innovation systems in areas of high potential, connecting, coordinating, and collaborating with UK and African businesses, academia, investors, governments, public funders, and NGOs. Our alliance will build stronger business and policy environments to promote job creation, inclusive growth, and poverty reduction whilst addressing the UN Sustainable Development Goals. To find out more about how we are achieving this, please visit our website to follow our journey.
Thank you for that. And it goes back to 2018 when our former Prime Minister visited Kenya, South Africa, and Nigeria, where she set up the new approach to Africa, looking at really exploring our shared passion for entrepreneurship, technology, and innovation to boost jobs and drive prosperity, both at home and overseas. And led to us essentially designing a program which is rather comprehensive over 6 years to look at how we could ultimately achieve the long-term ambition of creating stronger business environment for innovation to thrive that will lead to inclusive growth, job creation, and poverty reduction, initially working in Kenya, South Africa, and Nigeria. And in the last year and a half or so, we have been working really hard, and our team here in the UK as well as in the 3 countries have been working really hard on looking at how do we work across the innovation ecosystem stakeholders, identifying strengths, gaps, and challenges to support essentially building the stronger innovation capacity in both the local economy as well as the national economies. Currently, this year we're looking to pilot a number of interventions. And on the diagram, on this diagram, you can see that there are 4 main interventions that we are implementing this year. So on the right there, on the top right, you have the Open Innovation Program, which actually we are partnering Kenyan National Innovation Agency on some of the activities, which we are hoping to announce in the coming weeks and maybe perhaps at the Kenyan Innovation Week in a few weeks' time. But then at the same time, what's really driving us at the moment is the place-based innovation activities, which is an area that I'd like to focus on a little bit. And to support some of the work around this, we are also looking at how do we help to unlock investment capacity into early stage innovation. And finally, we understand that innovation would require, for innovation to thrive, it requires much, potentially an improve robustness, innovation, governance around policy, design, and implementation. And that again, we're working and some of the ideas around supporting policymakers in the countries. Now, if I look at why PBI or place-based innovation is important for us, this diagram really helps us to understand why we're doing this. So we understand that while many secondary cities, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, has become major hubs of subnational urban growth as regional markets and service centers, until recently, their significance has not really, has only been marginally reflected in national innovation policies. So our focus that we're trying to drive here is moving to support cities or regions' competitive advantage or DNA and mobilize regional stakeholders and resource around visions for the futures. So for example, we've seen disastrous impact of COVID-19 in the last 2 years had on cities. And in secondary cities, sometimes it's not about building back better, but it's about building up deliberately. Now, systems will emerge naturally as cities grow, and in supporting innovation in these cities, it also allows emphasis to be placed on building open, inclusive mechanisms for collaboration and community building. So innovation really offers opportunity to bring together diverse stakeholders for a common purpose. And as an output, innovation builds our capacity to solve pressing challenges. And this is what we're looking to try to drive through our PBI activity, about identification of a region's distinct competencies around innovation, around its economy, and around its sort of business community. And how do we bring together the stakeholders, convene the stakeholders to align their strategies and investment to support these specialization areas, and also work very closely with government priorities as well. And finally, how do we help to convene collaborations in these activities in the region? And this is one of the key pilot activities that we have been driving this year. I have a video here about PBI, which I'd like to play for you.
We know that innovation is key to tackling complex global challenges. When responding to new challenges, it is local people who must adapt, be resilient, and rebuild. Place-based innovation, or PBI, takes a long-term view of development by unlocking the innovation potential of local places. We start by working within communities to ask, what already exists? Where are the gaps? And who can we connect to make innovative solutions a reality? Once clear goals are defined, we work with local stakeholders to co-design an innovation action plan that offers a shared vision for the future, as well as a roadmap on how to get there. Where solutions are not available locally, KTN Global Alliance Africa will draw in resources from its robust global network to connect innovation communities at regional, national, and international scales. We catalyze innovation by creating bridges across sectors, industries, and diverse innovation communities, including business, academia, government, finance, and civil society. By framing shared challenges around shared solutions, PBI brings people together to build a shared vision for the future. There is innovation potential in every place. PBI finds those opportunities and puts them on the map. To learn more, visit our website and follow our journey.
And that concludes my presentation, my speech. Just to mention as well, we have we undertaken a study to look at the 3 cities in Kenya, in Kisumu, Mombasa, and Eldoret. And the reports are available on our website for everyone who's interested to read them. And if you want a further discussion as well, Sheila is there to provide you more information. So I'd like to conclude my speech here. Thank you so much for your attention. And I'm looking forward to a little bit of conversation during the panel session. Thank you.
Thank you, Niju. With some of the champions of place-based innovation in Kenya's secondary cities and people who are doing amazing work in spaces that they're really pioneers. So I welcome you to listen to the panel discussion, but also if there are any questions, feel free to engage and after that, I'll also welcome Sheila and Her Excellency on stage to have our final discussion. Yeah, so at this point, I'd like to welcome my panelist. That is Amani Katana, all the way from Mombasa. Please appreciate him. And then we have the lovely Chep Magdalene. And finally, Niju will be joining us remotely. Sorry, I wasn't forgetting my other panelist. Forgive me. Susan, please, a round of applause to Susan. I'm going to buy lunch to make up for that. Thank you, Susan. So, are we ready, Nija? Can you hear us through the speaker? Oh, great. Cool. So, we'll start with the introduction, and through the introduction, they'll tell us about themselves, the organizations they're running, and also the work that they're doing. Thank you for bringing the mics here. So I'll start with you, Susan. You know, you're first. Please.
Gladly. I hope you can hear me over my mask very well. Okay. So my name is Susan Wanjiko. I'm the Business Development Manager at Kigenzi, and I come here today in two capacities: as a proactive ecosystem builder and the Business Development Manager at Kigenzi. At Kigenzi, we are a digital manufacturing company that uses 3D printing to make our products. I'll tell you more about it as we converse.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Chepkemoi Magdalene. I am the founder and the executive director of EldoHub. EldoHub is an organization based in Eldoret, and we support youth and women to benefit from the opportunities the digital economy offers and close the skills gap in Africa's job market. Our offerings include STEM education, that's capacity building on the latest tools and technologies, entrepreneurship training. We also have job matching as well as digital work. Apart from that, also we run entrepreneurship development program, which enables startups to bring their ideas to life through incubation, mentorship, and business coaching. Yes, so I'm also the current, I'm also working in an organization called not really working, I'm that part of the board members of the Association of Countrywide Innovation Hubs, and in a network of all innovation hubs across the country. And I've been working as the head of resource mobilizations and partnership, but currently I'm the chairperson-elect.
You got to get used to it. She was just recently elected the chairperson, so she's trying to get used to it. So let's give her a round of applause for that. Next time I'll introduce you as Madam Chair, so it's easy for you to say it. Amani?
Hi, greetings from Mombasa. My name is Amani Katana. I'm the founder and executive director at Youth Empowerment Program Initiative, popularly known as YEPI. And at YEPI, we work with youth and women by equipping them with the resources that they need in order to scale their businesses. And we have different programs that help us identify and nurture these women. One program is the Governor Startup Challenge, which is an annual entrepreneurship program whereby we select the best and brightest entrepreneurs from around the coastal region of Kenya. We bring them together for 7 days intensive business development program, whereby we equip them with design-driven entrepreneurship skills, leadership management, networking, among others. We also have 1 day simplified entrepreneurship training that is focusing on SMEs, whereby we equip them with trainings on how to develop business models based on the challenges that are available in their communities, how to identify a market for that, and how to pitch for investment for that business. And we also have a program that we've partnered with the US State Department, the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs, which provides knowledge, skills, and network for women from vulnerable communities to scale and grow their businesses. That's briefly what we do, and we cover all the 6 counties in the coastal region of Kenya, and we've extended now to Nairobi and Nakuru, and very soon, I was having a conversation with my sister Carol, very soon we will extend here to Kisumu.
You're welcome to Kisumu.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Aman. Niji already introduced himself, but I'd like him to go first in our first question because he has to drop before our panel ends. My first question to you, Niji, you talked about place-based innovation, and the current space in Kenya, it's just something that is starting up, where we're starting to see initiatives to support entrepreneurs in secondary cities and peri-urban areas. So we're curious from KTN's perspective, are there models around the world where supporting place-based innovation or grassroots innovation has worked that we can borrow a leaf from as we build an inclusive innovation ecosystem in Kenya? Over to you. We can't hear you. Are you on mute?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay, great. James, thank you. That's a really good question. Yes, PBI, place-based innovation, in different names and forms, have been successfully implemented in other countries. Let me quote three examples that I have personally seen and experienced. I'll start with an example from Israel. So Beersheba, a city in the Negev desert, was legislated by the parliament, Israeli parliament, to be a dedicated cyber hub around 2015-16. Really through legislation, stimulating investment, incentives, and skills movement into the region to eventually build a world-class innovation hub for cybersecurity innovation and startups. It's the second most invested cybersecurity center in the world after the US, has probably per capita the highest investment in cybersecurity innovation. I was privileged to visit there 3 years ago and really impressed by what I've seen over there. So that is in Israel, Beersheba. The second example is probably a bigger program in Africa, and is around building innovation clusters. So Canada is a federal state with 10 provinces and 3 territories, I believe. And inevitably, much of its innovation policy and support goes at provincial level and not necessarily coherent across the countries. So through its Innovation Supercluster Initiative, or ISI, the Innovation, Science and Economic Development Ministry established 5 superclusters across digital technologies based in British Columbia, protein industries in the Prairies region, advanced manufacturing in Ontario, secondary cities, and AI in Quebec, probably primary cities, but ocean industries across, alongside the Atlantic Canada. So the government's committing nearly $1 billion Canadian dollars for 5 years to be matched dollar by dollar by the private sector. And the initiative is really helping to shift Canada's economy from natural resources to high tech, and really leveling up the regional disparity through PBI initiative. So that's a really strong initiative in Canada. Finally, in the UK, there are various models that we have experienced. For example, KTN, we were involved in helping to implement the smart specialization strategy, which, across the different, what we call local economic partnerships, or LAP regions, to help catalyze and galvanize consortia around local and sector strength to achieve our national industrial strategy. We also have other PBI-driven regional economic initiatives, such as in the Northeast, we have the Northeast Automotive Alliance. In the Midlands, we have the Midlands Engine, and also we have the Northern Powerhouse. So sort of, examples from 3 countries that we have I have seen successful PBI-based initiatives.
Thank you. Thank you for those examples. So it's possible. So whatever we are, challenging ourselves to do here, it has been done in other parts of the world. And we can see that there's a lot of government involvement, especially in the case of Canada, where they're investing money and matching it dollar by dollar. I think that will be interesting to see what the Kenyan government can borrow a leaf from. So I'll move to, I'll start with you, Amani, and our discussion today will have one question. So in that question, feel free to add something that maybe is not captured in the question as well, but you think it's really, really important to mention because of time. So that, if you need to go, please feel free, but we really appreciate having you and the presentation as well as your input. Okay.
And thank you, everyone. Thank you. I look to catching up with you all when I'm in the country next time.
No problem. Okay,
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Okay, bye. Yeah, so the question is, and I'll start with you, Amani, how can we leverage partnerships to better support place-based innovation and build an ecosystem that supports local entrepreneurs? And I think place-based innovation is not the overriding term in this session today, but essentially it simply means supporting grassroots innovation, and some of us are already involved in that work where you're focusing on the youth in Mombasa, and Magdalene is pushing work in Eldoret, as well as Susan doing great work here in Kisumu. So what is the role of partnership in all this? Thank you.
Okay, in my experience working with local communities, what I've come to learn is innovation does not happen in isolation. People have to come together and collaborate, brainstorm, exchange ideas. So I feel like for us to be able to address these local communities to address the challenges, the first thing is we need to pool the resources by mapping out different stakeholders, by trying to understand who is doing what, where they're located, what are the challenges that they are facing. So by coming together, that is one step of ensuring that we have one voice and trying to solve this, to make this problem looking small. But if you work in isolation, the problem will be bigger. And I like what the Countrywide Innovation Hub is doing by bringing together different organizations from different areas. Like right now, courtesy of the Countrywide Innovation Hub, you find YEPI is based in Mombasa, but we have access to the regional network of other innovation hubs like us. So one is to identify and doing stakeholder mapping, knowing who is who, where they're located, and what are they doing so that we can bring synergies together. And number two will be to share the vision to these different stakeholders so that we both understand that we are in this to address societal problems and we're not just here to do business. So by sharing this mission and vision to the other organizations so that we can all pool our energy and resources together, we'll be able to have a multiplier effect not only to our surrounding communities, but across the nation. Yeah, those are my inputs.
Thank you. Magdalene? I can repeat the question?
Yes.
Yeah, so how can we leverage partnerships and also speaking as the chairperson of Countrywide Hubs to better support place-based innovations and also build an ecosystem that supports local entrepreneurs? And feel free to give any examples that you've seen work before. Yeah.
I think I will focus this on the Association of Countrywide. And just to start, we realized that there's so many young people on their own doing so much to support others to be able to start and grow businesses, to support innovators across the country. And there was a lot of focus, and don't quote me of this, in Nairobi. There was a lot of focus in Nairobi, just the way you know that, when you come to Kenya, everything happens in Nairobi. So we decided that, let's come together as all innovation hubs and entrepreneurship support organizations across the country and think of ways in which we can all, as a team, create impact and support each other to continue creating impact. And now we've built a very big force which is the association of countrywide. In Lake Hub, we have now 3 members, Winam Capital and Lake Hub, and also Wise Hub and other innovation hubs, which are really doing amazing work. And together, we have been able to bring other partners on board, like the KENIC, 21C Skills Africa, which is the Liquid Telecom. We've worked with the UK Kenya Tech Hub. And in 2020, during the COVID-19, during the onset of COVID-19, we came together again and ran the Great COVID-19 Innovation Challenge, where we mobilized young people who are now, they were affected by COVID-19. Everyone was sitting at home. There were no, innovation hubs, one were all closed because we don't have an opportunity to go and sit somewhere and interact with the rest. So we came together and ran the Great COVID-19 Innovation Challenge, bringing together over 300 young innovators across the country who was just sitting at home and to ideate, submit their ideas. Everything was done virtually. And we ended up with 40 innovators, and we narrowed down to 15. And I can say that all the 15 are currently generating revenue. They are created impact. They have raised a lot of, they have raised capital, and they are showcasing, exhibiting in different national and international forums. And all these are innovations which are regional. So that's really a success story for the place-based innovation. And I think place-based innovation is still a new concept, which I've really read about it, and I see that it really suits the developing countries and Africa. And I feel that we don't need to follow the model of Silicon Valley. We need to follow our own model of place-based innovation, which is kind of focused on a region and focused on some of the challenges that we have. And I feel that will really grow us in terms of economy and meaningful employment and create more impact among the regions and especially outside the capital cities. Yeah.
Thank you, Magdalene, for bringing that up. And I think it's important, as I come to you, Susan, it's important to note that as we talk about partnerships, Eldo Hub and also Kijenzi have received support from the British High Commission to implement some of the programs. And you gave a really good example on the COVID-19 hackathon, where Konza, as much as they were in Nairobi, they were really great partners to ensure that these innovations were brought up to, they came to light and were supported beyond that. So yes, Susan, Kijenzi, which is a startup, or have you gotten to corporate? Yeah, but which is a startup based in Kisumu, really doing amazing work in an emerging market. Maybe you could tell us also about, has partnerships been useful? Has it helped, your startup gain some interesting milestones? Yeah.
That's a great question. Yeah. And I would like to also echo my panelists' views that we are not trying to be Silicon Valley, right? Try to do it here. Yeah. And is that with the power of numbers that even is happening with the countrywide association, is that because we need to be able to drive context-specific policies, yes. And that's what in itself that is even allowing Kijenzi to thrive in Kisumu. Yeah. Because in itself is that we come off, we basically are PBI, right? We are place-based innovation. Yeah. Because the story of Kijenzi begins by research by students from Penn State University who come to the Nyanza region and find the gaps that are there within the hospitals, having broken down machineries that they cannot fix because of small plastic parts. And so the development of those parts then basically born Kijenzi. And then of that, then we've explored to become building educational models, because we're sector agnostic, because with 3D printing, you can make basically anything. And with that we find that even the fact that we are now a we have devolved government, is that there's a lot of infrastructure, say, in Kisumu that is allowing startups to then thrive of such things, because digital manufacturing is very new, and better yet, in Kisumu or in Kenya. And in itself is that we being here is that Kisumu, Eldoret, Mombasa, there are more cities like those in the world than Nairobi. So, money, as much as it's going to Nairobi, there's not as many Nairobis in the world. I think London, New York, very few cities, big cities like that. But then of Kisumu-sized cities, they're replicable across the world. And that's even how our platform works and our processes work, by by building physical hubs and a digital platform where other people can play, so that we can all get global products through the supply chains that were disrupted during the pandemic, locally, and that can service local communities. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. I just want to give less than a minute to each one of us to say your closing remarks, but I also want to guide it, because you've mentioned it. It's important that as we think about place-based innovations, we are thinking about product or services that can scale globally. So do you think we're doing enough to support innovations at the local level that can actually that can be global? Because that's really important. Otherwise, when there's no scale, then maybe we won't see enough innovations coming up. So closing remarks, talk about the opportunities for scale for these place-based innovations as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Should start, yes. There's definitely need for infrastructure building, more infrastructure building at community level, to allow entrepreneurs at the grassroots to even come up and better get to refine their products for the markets that they can then scale. Because then with coming together, you can find that Kisumu is a smaller market, but then when we come together as then within the countrywide hubs, then it becomes a bigger, size, and it can then scale.
Okay.
So there's definitely need for infrastructure.
Okay.
On my final remarks,
sure.
or should I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'd say that there's no single or conclusive recipe to build a PBI, for sure. We can look at the other examples that are there across the world, as even mentioned, but then because we're not trying to create unicorns like Silicon Valley or whatever, we have to create then, our Kisumu PBI model, right? And that takes a lot of determination, takes a lot of collaboration, and a lot of work in liaison with government and, of course, the people, the entrepreneurs that are there, because the market and the communities and the needs that they have are so specific, and that needs to be as the driving force to be looked at. So, yeah, thank you very much for inviting me for this panel.
Thank you, Susan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think now that we are here, having countrywide, having the KTN Global and the Innovation Action Plan and all that, I feel that there is a lot of progress which have been made for us to advance innovations, innovation in rural and peri-urban centers. And also in terms of scaling internationally, I feel that, there's so much which needs to be commercialized. And especially if I can talk about Mursiki in the college. Yeah, we can actually, it has a very specific, there's a specific tree hub which we use, and charcoal, which actually charcoal, there's a local name, but then it's in the UK, it's called activated charcoal, and they're using it, yeah. So that's something which can be commercialized, both locally, nationally, and it can even go internationally. We need to see Mursik in the shelves in the UK, in the US, and all that. And I think as we are as the innovation ecosystem players and the development agencies and other partners can really come in, the government, academia, and all that. And yesterday we attended a panel discussion at University of Eldoret, and there was a person who was doing research in the traditional herbal medicine, which I think there is also more which needs to be exploited there.
Yeah.
Because the traditional medicine, which is used by so many people across the country, but then there's need of research so that to determine actually it works, to determine actually to have standardized and all that. And so I feel like, there's a lot of progress. And as the key players, we really need to support and we need to create a lot of awareness to ensure that we get these innovations out there and scaled both locally and internationally. Thank you.
Thank you, Magdalene. Katana?
Yeah, the best thing about the PBI is it has taken the approach of bottom up. And I don't mean the bottom-up approach that we are used to, so please don't quote me. Yeah, I see it in that angle, whereby resources are being channeled to local communities so that they can solve their own problems. Because if you look at the different areas that you have in Kenya, Kisumu has its own characteristics, Mombasa has its own characteristics, Eldoret the same. But if we use this approach of PBI to come together and be able to mobilize resources to address our challenges in our own unique way, we don't need to copy what has been done somewhere else, but we can learn from them. I see a very great opportunity and potential for that. Looking at the examples that have been shared from Israel and Canada, so it's up to us as ecosystem players to drive policies and bring both the public and private ecosystems together so that we can be able to channel these resources down to the people from the bottom of the pyramid. And in that way, we'll be able to see economic development starting from the grassroots level to the countrywide. Yeah, that's my final remarks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I want to give room for one question only. And just a reminder, we've been talking about PBI, not BBI. So just to clarify that. So one question about PBI and the conversation that we've had here. As you can see, there's a lot of work going on in Mombasa, Eldoret, and Kisumu as well. So if there's any question, someone who has a question, just one. If there's none, I think we'll just close there. There's no question? Okay, cool. So please give a round of applause to my panel. They've really done a great job, and thank you for your time.
Everyone.
Yeah. Sit here. Okay, so I'll invite Sheila on stage, who will have a session with the Deputy High Commissioner. After that, we will have lunch. So please. Yeah. How is she gonna come? I need to have her. Okay. You good? Oops. Sorry. Okay.
So thank you so much for joining us, Your Excellency. I think I will just pick up the conversation on local innovation with you. Thank you for honoring our invitation to be in this fireside chat to talk to the innovation community in the country, especially the ones who are following us virtually, so we appreciate that. So I think just picking up from the conversation about local innovation, why do you think local innovation is important?
Hard to talk through it. I think coming after the panel, the panel, all the panelists have said so much, which was, a lot of it is common sense, but it's really reinforcing those messages. It's about the local solutions. If you're here, in your local area, you understand what the challenges are, you can see gaps in the market, you can see the opportunities, and you're brilliantly placed then to come up with those ideas. This morning we were visiting Xist, where they were using water hyacinth to make ethanol. So obviously water hyacinth is a huge problem here on the lake. It's long been a sort of a challenge, but they've taken that and found an opportunity to make a kind of clean fuel with it. So it's just the logic of finding the local solutions makes sense.
It does. It does. I think it was mentioned in the panel with Eldohub and Kijenzi about the support that they've received from the UK. So how does the UK support local or grassroots innovations?
We're doing quite a wide range of things. We were discussing in the car. Actually, there's such a wide range that it's quite hard to sort of capture them all. We don't have sort of one single program. But what we're keen to kind of recognize and support is all the kind of the creativity, and especially I mean, I think there's a range of things. There's sort of the sort of digital dimension, which enables a lot of people to get involved in things. You know, you don't need a factory necessarily. It's a lot of, you know, it's using sort of bright ideas and sort of savvy and capacity. So I think people mentioned our tech hub, the UK Kenya Tech Hub, and one of the projects we were talking to yesterday at Elder Hub was the support we were giving to you guys to basically bring together young, tech-savvy apprentices with businesses who needed or had a lot of opportunity to improve their way of working, but really bringing the kind of the young minds together with the established businesses. And I think what we're keen to do is all these kind of partnerships. The Royal Academy of Engineering in the UK has also been quite a long-term sponsor of some of this innovation, and to help boost people's confidence. I think that's a big one. Provide some mentorship and boost confidence so that people believe in themselves and believe in their ideas and can take those forward.
Yeah, I think digital skills and shift in mindset is quite important. And I think it also plays a big role in ensuring that the impact of the support that the UK is giving to grassroots innovation reaches the people who, not necessarily the organizations, but I think the beneficiaries. So I think maybe this is so random, but we can call a few people that have worked with the UK, maybe just for 1 minute each to just, give us their impact story. Living Goods, this is so random, I'm sorry guys. Are they in? Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So my name is Levitt. I'm LIF Fellow 2018. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. I have a background in forensic science, and I had a grandmother, my late grandmother, called Nerea. She came from a small town in Siaya County called Bondo. So she used to take some pain reliever medicine for maybe 3 to 4 times every month. And there's this one time I was paying her a visit in 2017, and she didn't have money to buy the medicine, so she told me to buy it for her. So I bought it from a renowned pharmacy here in Kisumu, and I took it to her. So she told me that she could not feel the pain anymore, and weeks turned into months, and for months on end, she did not need to take that drug again. Then that caused me to ponder. As an investigator, I did more research, and I found that 1 in 10 of all malaria drugs, for example, in Africa are either fake or substandard. So for that reason, I decided to come up with a solution called Tambua, which is a mobile app and a USSD app that enables patients to verify authenticity of medicine before they buy them. Because I believe that while dying from a disease may be inevitable, dying from medicine never should be. So in 2018, we were selected by Kenya National Innovation Agency in partnership with the UK government through the British High Commission and some other UK institutions like the Royal Academy of Engineering. So we were selected to go to the UK, and we underwent a 2-week program which entails building capacity and empowering entrepreneurs. So after the program, we came back and we got funding from the Kenyan government because of, due to the partnerships that we got both from the UK and working with the Kenya National Innovation Agency. We did quite a lot. I may not explain within the short time that I have, but in short, we had close to 500,000 verifications, and slightly above 60% of that we flagged fake or substandard medicines in the market. In 2020, we were lauded by His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta for our accomplishments and our work in the space, because we managed to partner with different agencies like Anti-Counterfeiting Agency and Pharmacy and Poisons Board. Moving forward into the future, we look to keep innovating, and we are currently working on a payment platform that will help vendors, merchants, suppliers, and consumers to gain trust. So what you're going to pay for, whether you're buying it online or offline, you're going to be sure and confident that you're buying something which is genuine and authentic. So thank you so much. We've gotten a lot of support from all these players, and I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Ravi. Thank you so much. You've mentioned several stakeholders partnership, you know, at local level, but also from the UK. So I'll take it back to you, Your Excellency. How do you think key stakeholders, especially at local level, can participate to improve in the innovation ecosystem?
I'm going to defer to the previous panel again. I think it's really evident with the work that all the hubs do here, and that you're collectively identifying some of the challenges, things around regulation, you know, what you need to have a space to succeed, and that ability to work together, I think, to address those common issues is really crucial.
Yes, yeah, you're right. So I think I'll give you a chance to address them as well. Because of time, we will not ask as many questions. We understand we had a limited time here, so I'll give you a chance to talk to the few that we've allowed in, but of course, the ones who are also following us online. Yeah, your closing remarks.
Well, I think it's always inspiring. I was yesterday in Eldoret and today here in Kisumu, and it's so interesting, inspiring to see the range and diversity of ideas people are developing, and it's really, you know, looking at practical solutions to everyday problems or creating new opportunities. And it does feel like a very kind of modern, forward-looking way of working. The grand, big corporations and jobs for life that's disappearing the world over. So actually having that flexibility to develop a new idea, produce it, take it to market, look at the potential to expand and evolve, but also really solve practical problems for the population is a really brilliant space to be working in. So good luck to you all who are involved in that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please, let's give Your Excellency a better round of applause. Thank you so very much. James, I think we'll take it back to you.
Thank you, Sheila, and Your Excellency Gold. I think I'm going to give a chance to Martin to give a vote of thanks as we close the session, but we really appreciate your time. Okay.
Thank you so much, James. Thanks, everyone. And this is how we are going to give thanks. We are going to clap, and then I'm going to identify whoever we've clapped for. So be very careful with the kind of clap you are going to give. So let's put our hands together. Let's clap. Thank you. That belonged to the panelists. Was it good enough? I don't know. Let's clap again. Now you are trying to add more weight because you think it's you. It's for the speakers. Anybody who was speaking here, that belonged to you. Now we can do that again. Yes, that has been prolonged enough. Let's give it to the physical attendees. Let's find another one. We are almost there. Yes, you had other things because it belongs to the online guys. We are almost done. Let's do it. Yes. That is to guests. Anybody who is a guest here, that belongs to you. Last but not least, let's do it again. That belonged to Professor Obora, and the Africa Talent Campus, or otherwise we also know it as GATES, that is Gifted and Talented Education System, for allowing us to use this facility and also allowing other youths to use this facility free of charge. I thought you'd have added something. Before I finish, because I cannot just finish like that, I want to recognize the presence of the Youth Fund team. You know, that is government, so there's no way we can go. I want to recognize the presence of everyone here. I might not name all of you. And now, let's do the very last clap. Whom do we give that? Your Excellency, they've decided that that belonged to you. And so, let's give the final clap. I have taken that by myself. If you like. So thank you, everyone. It has been a pleasure having you here. We have really enjoyed your company. We've also learned a lot, and I'm hoping that all of us have learned something, and there has been a lot of partnership discussion. So even as we live here, I know we are exchanging contacts here and there, and we are hoping that all shall go well. So I need to end it here because my duty was only to make sure that everyone goes home happy. So, yeah, so it's important just to note that tomorrow we will also be having some other interesting activity here, and that activity belongs to the most forgotten guys, the children. So we will be having the Kids Hackathon tomorrow morning. And so if anyone has a child, of course we've had a lot of people registering, but they can still join online. And then after that, we will be having award ceremony in the evening, and we will be awarding various innovators and entrepreneurs. You know, it's always very important to recognize what others have done, and that gives strength and inspiration to the others. So also don't miss out that. Carol, where will it be? Yes, it will be held at Acacia. So if you will be able to get time, please come. Of course, it is award ceremony with wine tasting. Thank you so much, and I think I have to end it here. And to the guests, please, going home you may, coming back you must. Make this your